Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee tonight has stood here on many occasions as a speaker for someone going into the Hall of Fame. Tonight, the table is turned. In the manager-coach category, from Manchester, Connecticut, Mr. Frank LaTeano.
I discovered U-Trip on a B level, and we went to a 96 team tournament in Cincinnati, and the pitching was different. It was just a totally different game, and it was a better game for me anyway. And my guys liked it, and that was it. The transition happened in '84, I believe. It was always the top 5 or 6 that were just so much better than everybody else. I wanted to enter that 5 or 6 category. And the first year that we entered it, so to speak, I won the national championship in Omaha for at the USSSA World Series in Omaha. In '91, we started with Superior. I merged with the team that beat us at the World Series in 1990, and that was Rich's. We were Superior, hence the name, Rich's Superior. And no one said we could get along, but we did. The sponsor and I got along real well, Coy Honeycutt. It's the players that make the coach. Ron Parnell, Dirk Androff, Darryl Bueller, we're in-house monitors. And if anybody got out of line, they would settle their own problem. The psyches of the 9 or 10 guys that I had was such that they didn't know how to lose. They wanted to win. And they played that way. On the field, they were one. They were one unit. And they were one unit for, I don't know how many games, but there was 110 a year, maybe 7 years, 700 games. They were one unit. And they played like one. The memories are all about the camaraderie with the players. They kept me young, for one thing. I love them all. I believe they love me also. I can't think of anything other than that camaraderie is the thing that I remember most about the game. Winning, sure, that made it a lot easier, but without the other, there's no winning.
A friend of Frank's and a member of the USSSA Hall of Fame, Mr. Buddy Slater.
It is truly a pleasure to be back at the USSSA Hall of Fame induction. Many fond memories come to mind when I see a lot of my old teammates and friends. It's always a pleasure to see Donnie Dionitis and the rest of the USSSA staff. What a fantastic job they've done over the years. It's also nice to see Hank Bassett with Louisville Slugger. It just wouldn't be the same today. Softball wouldn't be the same without these great people and these great sponsors. Thank you, and thank many, many others. And special thanks to my old friend, Frank LaTeano. Everybody knows him as Frank, but I've always called him Pancho. I get a big smile on my face every time I see Frank. I would like to congratulate all the 2005 inductees being honored here today. You should be very proud being inducted into the finest, most prestigious organization that slow pitch softball has to offer. I'd also like to congratulate Ron Parnell, Darryl Bueller, and Brett Hightower for their recent inductions. And I also see quite a few future Hall of Famers out there today. It truly doesn't get better than USSSA. The competition was fantastic. Friendships were formed, business opportunities arose, and we really had a great time. I don't think the Hall of Fame was on our minds at the time, but I think most of us will agree that the main reason we're out there every weekend was for the thrill and the enjoyment of winning. I'm sure we all made quite a few friends, had a whole lot of fun, Saw places traveling coast to coast that we might have never seen otherwise. But honestly, in playing this great game of softball, winning was our ultimate goal. Most of my softball life, I didn't think anyone could care for the game more than I did, until I met Frank LaTeano. Over the years, we went through a lot of battles together, and I got to know Frank pretty well. One thing for certain, Frank truly loves his family and his many friends, but he also loves this great game of softball with all his heart. When I first met Frank in Canada in a softball tournament in 1985, I thought he was in the mafia. I thought he was from New York or New Jersey. But in time, I found out that he and I had a lot in common. And he was really just a sweet little guy from a small town in Connecticut who had a very special wife, Phyllis, who allowed him to chase his dreams of winning the national championship. Some of you who don't really know Frank very well may wonder, why is Frank LaTeano receiving the highest honor anyone can receive in slow pitch softball? What is so special about him, and why is he here today? Well, I'm going to tell you from my experience why he is as deserving to be here as anyone in the USSSA Hall of Fame. As a sponsor and a manager, he was always organized and always prepared, and he always had a game plan. In every one of our team meetings before each game, he would go over how we were going to pitch each player on the other team. He studied his competition very well. He wanted to pitch each player to their weakness because, especially on our level, every out was so important. He used different defenses, such as 5-man infields, different shifts, and so on. He was always looking for that small advantage to make the difference in the outcome of a ball game. Being a winner in business and life in general, Frank didn't take losing very well. If he lost his appetite. Which you can look at him now, he didn't lose very often. He was a master of putting talent together, then getting the most out of each individual player. He recruited players who were unselfish and had the great desire to win just like he did. He treated them with utmost respect for their talent and received the same respect from his players. He chose the type of player who were happy to see their teammates do well, and it didn't bother them when the spotlight wasn't on themselves. All of these thoughts were on his mind when he put his teams together because the chemistry amongst his players was so important. He went the extra mile and did more than the average manager ever even thought about. He knew there was more to the game than just hitting. He didn't look for the best hitters in the country. He wanted the type of players who had speed, good arms, who could hit for average and as well as home run power, and could play defense, and above all, would be a team player. Because Frank LaTeano was truly a softball genius, and because of his dedication to the game, he built what I call a dynasty in slow pitch softball and fulfilled his dreams. I look back over my softball career and it amazes me how fortunate and how lucky I was to have been associated with some of the greatest players and some of the finest teams in USSSA history. But Frank LaTeano topped them all. Because of him and his desire to win and all the work and all the time he spent in slow pitch softball, everyone else was playing for second place. Sure, he had great talent, but he was their leader. He made it happen, and his success was phenomenal. And his team's statistics were incredible. Frank LaTeano has participated and supported USSSA for the last 20 years. Since the mid-'80s, his teams have participated in 11 World Series. From 1986 through 1999, his teams have combined to win 47 National Invitational USSSA tournaments. He has managed and sponsors teams that have won 4 men's World Series championships, which happens to be more than any sponsor manager in the history of the World Series. His World Series record is 50 wins and 20 losses. In 1991, though, Frank put his finest team, Rich's Superior TPS. This team in 7 years compiled a record of 508 wins compared to only 81 losses, playing the best competition possible. They won 68 tournaments out of 103, including 16 Grand Slam championships out of 28. The win-loss record for the first 3 years was 241 wins and only 22 losses, winning 31 championships out of 40, including 10 out of a possible 12 Grand Slam championships. His 92 team was the first team to win the Grand Slam softball, all 4 championships. Frank LaTeano has 21 national championships in all. So in my opinion, and I'm sure many others, he was the king of the giants in slow pitch softball. And today, he will be crowned as a member of the USSSA Hall of Fame. And I'm very proud to be here on his behalf. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Frank for allowing me to be a small part of his fine organization. And I'd like to say, thanks for the memories we'll never forget. It's my pleasure to introduce the newest member of the USSSA Hall of Fame, Mr. Frank LaTeano.
Wow. Thank you, buddy. And thanks for letting me know how you really feel. Well, I want to congratulate the rest of the people on the podium here. I'm at the podium, excuse me. 5 or 6 of which I have direct contact with. Woody, Todd, Jim Darby, John, Ron Neely. So I congratulate all of you, and especially those people. And I want to thank everyone at the U-Trip, especially Robert, who does a great job. With one exception, he's been sending me dozen emails to the wrong email address. So there's a lot of information here that I wasn't really prepared for. Also, Marcia and Laurie, who did help me, and Donnie D, of course. I've known him for quite a few years, and he's my man. And of course, the rest of his crew, Jim Swint, Robert, and the rest of them. And I understand there's something coming up about an umpire thing, but I'll let them talk about it with Rick Robertson. I've been here, like Chuck said, 4 times before, but I have never been on the other side like I am tonight, and I gotta admit I'm a little bit nervous. The other speeches came easy because I was looking for fun things to say about people, but this is not quite the same, so it is different. To try to explain how I feel today is very difficult, but I will start by saying I'm absolutely thrilled and honored to be an inductee. It is the culmination of a lifetime of softball. As a player, as a manager, as a sponsor. A lifetime of passion for the game. And again, I think, like I said before, it is about time. But done with the humility part. To achieve all of this, these championships and all that I did accomplish, took a lot of effort from a lot of different people. In the growing up process, we played ASA in Connecticut early, and Dean McNew introduced me to USSSA. We won a tournament or 2, and then we went to Cincinnati to play a National C tournament under Mark Linneman. And We came in third. My players loved it. Different pitching, different game. And I got a little quote that I like to say about USSSA. We all know, or we all feel, that they're the best organization. But when I was introduced, it was new to me, and because they actually cared about how the game was played. And that's everything to a player, caring about what was played, and I became a lover of the game. And then we went on a national scene. What did I like? The thrill of winning, the thrill of outthinking the competition, and most of all, the camaraderie and the lifetime friendships that have come out of it all. Some of the players and friends are here, and I want to thank them for being my solid foundation. When we decided to go to a national level, we joined forces with several teams, and in 1989 in Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, I won my first USSSA World Series. The thrill was beyond compare. And I said to myself, even before that, once I accomplished this, well, I'm done. But all it did was get me the hook to go further. What was needed to sustain what was left, well, there are some things, and that's where I listed them here. To sustain that kind of a thing, you need quality players with the right attitude and intense desire to win. Leadership that worked diligently to guide and produce harmony. Sponsorship to support us and keep us properly equipped. And of course, money. In reverse order, I sought out the financing. Got different partners, what have you. Louisville Slugger took care of the sponsorship, and they were great. And working with Hank Bassett could be difficult, but it was always rewarding for us, and hopefully it was rewarding for Louisville. Rex Bradley was the initiator, but Hank did all the legwork. Buddy and Slater and I took special care of the leadership part with help from our no-nonsense prefect of discipline, Ron Parnell. And he was a prefect. The players out here today, I have about 40 people here. Starting from the old, I had to mention their names. I played with Jimmy Breen. I played with Les Keston. I played with Bobby Buttram. I played with Chris Serino. I played and shared a half a lifetime with Steve Riley. Those were the early years. When Richard Superior was formed, out there tonight, 6 of my 7 or 8 regulars that we had through the 91 and 97 season. Ronnie Parnell, Darrell Beeler, and Britt Hightower, who are in the Hall of Fame. Paul Drilling, Doug Roberson, and Dirk Androff in spirit. And of course, Buddy Slater. I couldn't have done it without you guys. There's absolutely no way. And that's what makes these things happen. Well, so much for the direct approach. Now to the necessary behind-the-scenes requirement to a successful softball life. The family. 6 kids who ran the family business, while Dad chased his dream. 6 kids who were in Omaha at his first USSSA National Championship, celebrating. Some of the 6 kids celebrated a little too much that night. And of course, a wife who had become part of the dream, whether she liked it or not. Thank God she liked it. Phyllis, the surrogate mother to a bunch of grown-up kids. And that's my team, grown-up kids. Does she deserve credit? Boy, does she deserve credit. And could all of this happen without her support? Not a chance. So to you fellas, I say thank you and I love you. I would like, my 40 people to stand up. Is that possible? All 40 of them. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most coveted awards in USSSA is the President's Award. Mr. Danny Brown.
The Riches Superior Advanced Player Bat from TPS is the most powerful new softball bat on the diamond. It features the thinnest walls ever in a TPS bat for maximum bat speed, maximum trampoline effect, and maximum power.
You better get one. They're awesome.
The Riches Superior TPS Advanced Player Bat from Louisville Slugger. How winners play the game.